Hey everybody, and welcome to another Cricut craft tutorial. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays with the occasional bonus live video. Today's video, we're going to teach you guys how to engrave using your Cricut Explore Air machines. Now I will say that by doing this, you are going to void your warranty, so I would not do this on a machine that's under a year old, but it does work and you can do it. Just be aware that using anything that is not a Cricut tool or a Cricut pen will void your warranty. So I'm going to show you the awesome design that we made, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. So this design was made, I did not design it myself. This was something I got off of a group I'm in, but it is obviously Harry Potter themed. The acrylic is from 651vinyl.com. I will link that below. And the base is also from 651vinyl.com, also linked below. And the tool to use for engraving is from Amazon. I have linked that below as well. The base comes with a remote, which makes it super easy to use. You can change the colors, change the way the colors flash. You can have it as a solid color. You can dim it and brighten it, so there's a lot you can do with it. Now you will need some painter's tape, a pin pen, and a mat to do this project, as well as the engraving tool. So let's go over to Design Space so I can show you guys how to do this. Over in Design Space, I've already loaded my circle and my design that I'm going to use. The circle you can get from 651vinyl.com. I show you guys where to get that and how to load it in the previous video, which I will link below. But we use it so that we can easily size our design to fit inside our circle. Now, because we're doing this with the Explore, we are going to leave this as a cut file. If we change it to anything else, it's going to have a lot of double lines, and it's going to look a little bit funny and off, so we are just going to make sure to leave it as a cut. So what I'm going to do is size this down a little bit, and I'm going to move it into my circle. Now, I know that it would fit like this, but it's going to be very difficult to make sure that it's exactly in the circle, because I did try this about this size, and it kept going off the edge of our circle in the one corner and causing the machine not to want to work. So it wouldn't etch once it fell off the side. So I know that I set this at about 4.281 as the width on it. So I know that that size fits, and it fits fine. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of make sure it looks pretty good. It looks fine to me. So we're going to go ahead and use this little eyeball over here on the right hand side and click it so that it hides our circle, because we don't want to cut that or anything. We just needed it for sizing, but you don't have to delete it. You can just hide it. Now we are going to click on Make It. And just like in the Maker video, I use the center of my mat to help me center my design. Now it is a little bit hard to see on the black, so a lot of times what I'll do is I will change the color of my design so that my mat is easier to see. And I find the white pretty easy to see on the mat. So what we'll do now is once we've changed it to white, we'll go back and click Make It, and you see how much easier it is to see your design. So about center is between the B and L in Goblet, and I'm using the 6 as the center of my mat, so the 6 y-axis and the 6 x-axis basically. And I know where my circle sits, so I can kind of use the Deathly Hallows as a center point. And we're just going to line it up with the line and just hit that. That looks pretty good. Now I have my machine set to Cardstock Plus. We are going to load the Chromis engraving tool, and I'm going to show you guys it cutting. Now I have pre-cut this before I actually filmed this portion of the video, and I will tell you that the cut is going to be sped up, but the cut took almost 40 minutes to fully do the etching on it because it is such a detailed piece. The less detailed, the far less time it's going to take, but I really wanted to check this one out because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. So let's go over so you guys can watch this thing etch, and I'm going to show you how to put it on your mat and all that good stuff as well. So I've lined my circle up with the center of my mat. You can see the little hash right here in the center, and that's the center of my circle. It's going to help me make sure that my design is aligned correctly on my circle. So we're going to peel off just one side of the protective film, and you want to try not to touch your design too much. You can totally wipe it off, but I would recommend being careful about touching it. Now, we're not going to have any engraving on this portion of our circle, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure to put quite a bit of tape on that part, And then what I want to do is put just a little bit at the top of the circle where nothing will engrave. And then I'm going to put just a little bit on each side. And again, you don't want to put a ton because you don't want it to accidentally engrave on it, but you do want to hold this down. And don't worry if you touch it and you get fingerprints on it, you can absolutely clean it off. You just use a little bit of like window cleaner. I would recommend using like a microfiber cloth though, and not anything abrasive. So that's something to keep in mind. To load your engraving tool, which is this little guy, you're going to put it into clamp B. So you're just going to open clamp B and you're going to take out your original blade, put that in, and then you're just going to drop your engraving tool right into clamp B and close it back up. And then you can load your mat. Once it's done etching, you will want to take it off of your mat, and you want to make sure that you peel your painter's tape off. Try not to touch your acrylic too much if you don't have to. And I'll usually start on the bottom one and peel from there, but you can do it however you want. And I will save my painter's tape because I'm going to show you guys a real quick trick to clean up some of the little pieces of acrylic that come up when you etch. Because you'll see like the trees in this design, see how white they look? A lot of that is actually just acrylic dust that sticks to them, but you don't want to clean these with anything harsh or scratchy. You want to use like a microfiber cloth and Windex, and you want to be very, very careful. Now the covering is still on the back of this one, so it's okay to set it down. It's no big deal. And what I'm going to do is just take a little piece of the painter's tape, and I'm just going to put it all over the design. And that's going to peel up. You can see that all that is all acrylic dust that was stuck to the design. So I want to just make sure to go over that and try not to touch this too much, but I want to get any of that acrylic dust that I can off of here without having to actually wipe it, because I don't want to do that, because I want to try to keep it. And especially, like I said, on those trees, it gets really bad on those trees because they're so small and so gosh darn detailed. So I just like to try to go over those and pull out any of the dust that we have. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over, and I'm going to peel off the other backing, which again, I'm going to use my pin pen on this. And I'm just going to peel off the backing, and we'll stick it in the light, and I'll show you guys how it looks. Here is the finished etching. Now I did make this one a little bit small for the circle, but I did find when I tried to go a little bit bigger, I had a hard time getting it fully centered and even, and if it comes off of the circle at all, it's going to cause your machine to stop because it can't engrave, and it was a big pain, and I did have some issues with that. However, I think this worked really, really well. Just a reminder, I did set this to cut so that we wouldn't have a bunch of double lines. This is also done with the Chromis etching tool that you can get off Amazon, which I have linked below. Please keep in mind, again, that this will void the warranty on your machine. So only use this if your machine is out of warranty. Don't ruin your machine just because you want to etch. You can absolutely use etching vinyl for it, and it looks just fine. But if your machine is out of warranty and you want to try this, go for it. I can clearly see that it works very, very well. This was really easy to do. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I am always happy to answer those for you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays with the occasional bonus live video. Be sure to check the video description below for the links to where to get the LED base, the LED acrylic piece, as well as the etching tool for your Explore machines. Have a great day and happy crafting!